In this video, I'm going to break down the exact process that I've used to make over $1,000 per day as a car detailer. Now, if you're a detailer who is just starting, or maybe you're an established business, but you're struggling to get consistent, high-paying clients, then this video is for you because I'm going to lay it all out on the table for you. My exact blueprint for getting consistent $1,000 days plus, okay? Now, some of these strategies I've never actually revealed to the public before. They're only for my private community, so you're definitely going to want to stay and check out some of these strategies. See, the key isn't actually working harder, it's working smarter. It's understanding the key strategies that are going to maximize your profit and take your detailing business to the next level. If you're focusing on low ticket services that bring in very small profits, then of course you're going to be struggling. And if you're attracting the wrong type of clients who aren't willing to spend thousands of dollars with your business, then of course you're going to be struggling, consistently trying to find new work again and again. So this video is broken down into 3 separate parts. Number 1 is the exact jobs that I do to make over $1,000 per day. Number 2 is how I actually price and structure my services to maximize profit without working crazy hours. And number 3, how I consistently attract high-paying clients without having to justify my higher prices. So stay until the end because I'm going to reveal the key strategies that have enabled me to earn over $1,000 per day consistently. Now, if you're wondering who I am, I've built multiple detailing businesses, from mobile detailing businesses to now an established shop that does 6 figures. I know exactly how to scale and grow car detailing businesses, and I've helped many others do the exact same. I'm not some unicorn and I'm not like some special guy. I'm just an average guy who decided to take action. Okay, now I'm not saying that these strategies or this process of building this business is easy. Okay, it's definitely not easy. But if you follow this structure and you follow these processes, it can be much easier than if you go at it alone. Okay, you go at it alone, you're going to end up costing yourself thousands on mistakes that could have easily been avoided had you just followed simple instructions like this video. And this doesn't just work for me, okay? I've helped countless others start from zero, essentially, taking their businesses to multiple 5 figures per month, just like Danny from Luster Detailing, who was able to take his business to $30,000 to $40,000 per month. Okay, I think his biggest month was like $40K. I've helped him go from zero. He now has an established shop. He runs multiple vans on the road and is absolutely crushing. Or Ethan, who now has over $140,000 in maintenance clients alone, right? Doing on average $30,000 per month total revenue, okay? So when you start to structure your business correctly, you really can turn this into a legitimate business with some huge upside potential as opposed to just creating a job for yourself. Too often I see detailers out there struggling and they're just essentially working a job, for themselves. They've created a job for themselves and they haven't actually created a legitimate business. Right? There needs to be a shift from employee mindset to employer mindset or business mindset, where you actually look at your business as a separate entity from yourself, and you need to do what is best for the business. Structure it correctly, set your prices correctly so that you are profitable and attract the right type of clientele. All right, so let's get into step 1, the exact jobs that I do that enable us to earn over $1,000 per day. Okay, so as you can see from the screenshot here, we have some of the jobs we've done over the last week, and we can see on May the 20th, we did about $1,500. We can see May the 23rd, we did about $1,300. We can see May the 24th, we did about $1,200. And then we went up to May the 27th. We had a couple of days off. We did about $2,200. We did on May the 28th, we did $1,000 of $1,050. Okay. And then 29th, yesterday, we did about $900. Okay. So this is all just within the last sort of week, and almost every single day we've done over $1,000. Okay. So what makes up those actual prices or that revenue? What are the jobs that we're doing? Well, I can tell you now, it's not 5 or 6 jobs per day. We have only done about 1 to 2 cars every single day. And the reason is because we're focusing all of our efforts on higher price services. Okay. Now I say this time and time again, but it is honestly the easiest way to increase your profit margins and increase the overall revenue of your business is to just charge more, right? So if we have a look at the actual services that we did, okay, we can see paint correction and ceramic coatings, right? Full detail, more paint correction, ceramic coatings, another full detail, another paint correction, ceramic coatings. So we did in the last sort of week, we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 paint correction and ceramic coatings, right? And we've done 1, 2, 3, about 4 full details. Okay, so those are the jobs we've done over the last week or so, okay? And the majority are paint correction, ceramic coatings. We're selling those services like no tomorrow, and it's not by accident that we're selling and pushing those services, right? I've set this business up in order to push those services so that we can, bring in more revenue on a daily basis. And this is exactly what I'm trying to kind of explain, that you guys, you shouldn't be focusing your efforts on these low ticket services, trying to just sort of hustle as many as you can in a single day, right? We want to be focusing on those higher priced services, okay? Now, that's not to say that we don't do like other services, okay? If a customer comes in, they only want an interior done, then we will do an interior detail, but we price accordingly, right? We increase the prices of our interior details because we don't want to do a ton of interior details, right? So we charge anywhere from sort of like $290 upwards for a full interior deep clean, okay? Or basic details, we don't push basic details. We don't do basic details. If someone wants to come to us for a basic detail, we don't do it, right? And maintenance details are something that we do, but only for customers that have either had a full detail or a ceramic coating service with us before, okay? And other sort of services like headlight restoration, or, we will kind of customize the package based on what the customer is actually after and the desired result that they want, okay? So we're not going to turn business away necessarily, right? But we may take an inquiry about an interior detail and turn that into a full sort of detail with a paint correction or ceramic coating, okay? We'll always try to upsell and increase the opportunity value. You see, I used to be, the guy chasing $150, $200 details, trying to get as many as possible, giving discounts. But now I don't have to do that, right? And it's simply because I have a system in place, right? I have a system for generating high quality leads, and then I have a system for converting those high quality leads into high paying customers, okay? It all comes down to having a system in place. Without a system, you're going to be struggling to actually find clients. You're going to struggle to get them to pay higher prices, and then also ultimately you're going to be unmotivated to continue to run the business. Okay. Because as the saying goes, when you're winning, it's easy to keep winning, right? It's easy to stay motivated. When you're getting wins, it's easy to stay motivated. It's easy to keep going. Okay. Let's talk about step 2, how I actually price my services. Okay. And package them together to sell them, right? So we only push 2 core services. Number 1 is a full detail paint correction and ceramic coating. Okay. And then number 2 is a full detail. Those are the only 2 core services that we push on the front of our offer, okay, or the front of our marketing, okay. Well, if anything, we actually just push ceramic coatings at the moment, right? So how do I actually price these services? Well, I've done some research in my local area. I know what other car detailers are charging for similar services, and I've priced my services slightly higher than what they charge, okay, or around about the same, okay. And that's the easiest way to price your services, okay. So if another guy's charging, $1,000 for a paint correction ceramic coating, then I'm going to charge around that ballpark as well. Okay. All right. Speaking of systems, one of the most crucial things you need inside of your business is like a booking system and a CRM to follow up with customers. We've been using Jobber now for the last month, and it is amazing. Okay. Hands down, it is a game changer. I didn't realize I needed it so much until I actually started using it, right? We use it for my employees. They clock in and clock out of a timesheet so I can track all of their hours. We use it for invoicing, sending out invoices to all of the customers. Most importantly, we use it to track all the jobs. We can use it to send out reminders, emails, SMS. All right, there are a whole range of features that you can do with this with this software. Absolutely amazing. Highly recommend it. Go and check out Jobber down below. I've got a 20% off for the next 6 months, okay? And you can go and start a free trial. Now, the way that I sort of quote jobs, okay, and how I estimate them is, right, if we... Our goal, right, is to get the car back to sort of 80% perfection. Like, we're not aiming for 100% perfection. And this goes for an interior deep clean. It goes for an exterior paint correction. Okay. For the most part, for most services, the goal is to get the car to about 80% perfection. That last 20% is going to take 80% of the time, and the customer's not even going to really notice it. Okay. So we're always aiming for 80% perfection whenever we are like detailing vehicles. So we now know that the goal is to get the car to like 80%. Let's say for a ceramic coating, paint correction job that we're doing, okay, we look at the paint and we go, okay, we're going to get that to 80%, right? Now it's going to take a multi-stage correction, right? And just based off of like experience, I'm going to know that that's going to take roughly X amount of time, okay? But sometimes you're not going to be accurate, right? Sometimes you're going to overestimate, sometimes you're going to underestimate. The idea is just to have a bit of a baseline, okay? So we charge from $1,000 for any full detail paint correction work, okay? If the paint is really bad or the car is slightly bigger, then we'll add on another couple $100s to that. If they want a 3-year ceramic or a 5-year ceramic, we'll sort of quote it based off of that. Another thing we do is we only offer 2 options for ceramic coatings as well. When it comes to offering services and selling services, the more options you have, the more confusing it is, the more overwhelming it is. There's this thing as well that happens, it's called decision fatigue. And then also, if there are more options on the table, the customer's going to feel like they didn't get the best one necessarily. Like, there's a study that happened, I can't remember exactly, but they did the study where customers were to choose from like a variety of different options, and then the study revealed how satisfied they were with the option they chose, right? And they did a study with like, maybe it was like 5 or more options that they got to choose from, and then there was another study that did where they only had 2 options to choose from, okay, or even just 1 option to choose from, right? And the people that had less options to choose from were more satisfied with the option that they had, as opposed to the people that had way more options to choose from. They were less satisfied with the option they choose, because it's this like, this FOMO, this fear of missing out on the other options because there was just too many options, right? So to make it simple and in layman terms, have less options, right? The customer's going to feel more satisfied, and it's easier for you, okay? Less confusing, less overwhelming, right? So we really have like taken this approach of just having 1 to 2 core services that we offer, okay? We have 2 ceramic coatings that we offer. We offer like a 5-year and a 3-year. Mind you, we try to sell more or less on the attributes of the coatings these days, as opposed to the duration of the coating, because depending on how the customer maintains their vehicle will depend on, the actual lifetime of the coating. So when I'm selling these services, I always offer, the highest price service first, even if they are coming in for a full detail or an interior detail. And that's because when we eventually get to the actual service they want and the price they want, I've already price anchored a higher price in their mind. So let's just say I'm like, yeah, cool. So have you ever heard of a ceramic coating? Sweet. Service like that typically ranges from around $1,000 to $1,400 for your car, right? And they're like, oh, wasn't expecting that. Cool. Well, what we can do is just do a full detail and a 6-month sealant, make it look really nice for you for only $450. How does that sound? And now that they've had that higher price in their head, coming down to a, $450 service seems like a much easier decision to make. It's a less impact on the wallet anyway. So step 1, how do I price my services and package the services together? Well, 2 core services. Okay. I've evaluated what my competitors are charging. So I know what services, what price to charge for the services based on the market rate. Okay. And I've priced my services in the upper range of the market, and I always push higher price services. We only offer 2 options. Keep it less confusing, simple. Now, step 3, how do I actually attract these customers into my business that are willing to pay these higher prices? Okay. Well, it all comes down to marketing, right? Without marketing, you don't have any attention. Without attention, you can't generate interest. And then without interest, you can't generate leads into your business. It is as simple as that. You need to be marketing. Now, marketing comes in all forms, shapes, and sizes, right? It could be as simple as you just talking about your business to someone in the public. It could be you setting up some paid ads. It could be you having a website ranking high on Google. It could be you standing outside handing out flyers, right? There are all sorts of marketing avenues that you can sort of go down, right? The goal isn't to just choose one, though. The goal is to be omnipresent and to choose a range of different marketing strategies. Now, something that's been very effective for us right now is Meta ads and Google ads. Two most effective paid ad strategies for car detailing businesses. If you utilize these, you know how to use these, you will dominate in your market, right? So how do we actually justify the prices that we are charging? Well, it all comes down to the problem that you are solving, okay, and the value that the customer is perceived, like the perceived value that the customer has of what they're actually getting, okay? So it's easy to increase the perceived value of a ceramic coating, right? Because in most cases, customers don't really know about the process. They don't really know, what it takes to get a ceramic coating on the car. And then, it's just, they're not as educated as just say an interior deep clean, right? It's not rocket science to know what an interior deep clean is, what it involves. And, at the end of the day, it could just be a glorified cleaner that does that job, right? I mean, obviously, we're more detailed than that, but it's much easier to increase the perceived value of a ceramic coating because we really hit into the pain points of the customer, okay? So I have a framework for running any sort of like marketing content, okay? And it basically goes like this. All right, so this is the formula, okay, for, creating content and ads for car detailing businesses, right? Number one is you need to understand the customer's buying process, right? For, let's say, a full detail, most of the time it's impulsive. Someone sees an ad or they realize their car's dirty. It's an impulsive decision for them to make, to actually go and use your service. It doesn't take too much thinking to actually, spend a few $100s to get their car looking good again, all right? But a ceramic coating, on the other hand, people don't book right away. There's a bit more of a customer journey that happens. There's a bit more nurturing that needs to happen in order to get that, that lead booked onto your calendar. Okay, so in this case, you're going to have to educate them a little bit specifically on the benefits and the pain points or the problem that would happen if they don't get this solution. If they don't get a ceramic coating, what happens? Well, the car's going to get swirls, scratches. It's going to be exposed to UV rays, which is going to dull the paint. It's going to essentially ruin your paint and make it look shit. All right. And that's the pain point we're really digging into. That people don't want their car to look dull and shit. They want it to look nice, glossy, and brand new. We want to be selling the result and not the service. Okay. See, most details advertise, it's a full interior, exterior detail, right? But that's not what the customers really desire. They desire a result, right? Which is more or less like drive a car that smells and looks good, right? It's going to have that brand new feeling to it. With a ceramic coating, it's about protecting your car for years, maintaining that shine, making it much easier to clean so that you don't have to break your back every Sunday. That is a pain point that customers would really resonate with. So the first thing, right, we need to do when we actually create this ad is also, explain that there is a problem. Make them realize that they have a problem. Hey, have you ever noticed water stains on the car? Have you ever noticed bird droppings etching into the paint of the clear coat? Make them problem aware, okay? And then you need to follow up with a solution to that problem, right? And the benefits of the solution to that problem, okay? So for example, have you ever noticed bird droppings etching into the paint of your car? Looks horrible. Over time, it'll actually cause so much damage that it will break through the clear coat, start etching into the base coat, eventually start rusting your paint and making your car look absolutely worthless, right? Well, we have a solution for that. We can polish those bird droppings out and protect your paint with a long-term solution that is ceramic coating, right? Making your car look shiny, protected for years to come, and maintenance will be much easier so you don't break your back on a Sunday, right? That is exposing the problem, making them problem aware, giving them the solution, right, which is the ceramic coating, and then the benefits of the solution so that they don't have to break their back on a Sunday, right? You guys following along now, right? We need to dig into pain points and then make them emotionally feel like they need this service, right? Because remember, people buy based off of emotion and then they justify with logic, okay? If you can dig into their pain points, then people are going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars with you. Another important factor whenever you're creating content is social proof. You need to show them that this actually works and that other people have actually used these services before and that, you know, there are other people that trust you. Social proof is one of the most powerful forms of marketing. If you can get someone else talking about your business and how good it is, it holds far more weight than you talking about your business and how good it is, okay? So social proof, testimonials, case studies, anything like that to showcase that your work actually does work, what you do and what you speak is true. And then you'll get people lining up left, right, and center. Okay, what I'll do is I'll link down that formula. I've got a Google Doc on exactly how to create these ads down below, okay? The formula that I use. I'll put it down below. Check it out. Also, there are some other free resources down below, so go and check them out. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you in the next video.